Every year, millions of travelers arrive in northern India seeking a profound spiritual experience. But before you can find inner peace, you have to navigate the physical reality of these ancient, densely packed pilgrimage routes. Take Varanasi. As the world's oldest living city, its ghats and temples hold thousands of years of continuous human history, drawing massive crowds for the morning and evening Ganges Aarti. And the circuit extends far beyond the Ganges. Sites like the Mahabodhi Temple in Bodhgaya serve as a massive global draw for Buddhists, retracing the steps of enlightenment. Connecting these sacred dots, from Varanasi to Bodhgaya, Ayodhya, and Prayagraj, introduces immediate friction. You're dealing with fragmented local transit systems, intense crowds, and frequent language barriers. If you book this independently, your daily routine involves haggling with local taxi drivers, vetting guides on the fly, and scrambling for safe accommodations during peak festival dates. Reaching a state of quiet reflection in these cities requires first enduring this exhausting gauntlet of logistical stress. This is exactly the problem Sweet Trip India claims to solve. They are a highly rated tour operator based directly in Varanasi, promising a completely headache-free, door-to-door alternative. This diagram maps the pilgrimage logistics load. It leaves you with a choice. Do you absorb the friction of building this trip yourself, or do you pay a premium to outsource the organization? As you can see, Sweet Trip promises to check every box for you, managing transit, hotels, boat access, and emergencies, while the DIY route keeps all that burden squarely on your shoulders. Our audit will weigh these specific service claims against the actual needs of different traveler profiles to determine if the premium is justified. The highest point of friction in this region is transit. Moving safely and reliably between these cities is often the hardest part of the trip. If you want to get from Varanasi to Ayodhya on your own, you are either negotiating fares with local taxi drivers or deciphering the schedules of crowded public bus systems. Sweet Trip approaches this by maintaining their own fleet. They guarantee clean, modern vehicles, like a 7-seater Ortiga, driven by vetted professionals they call Kaptaans. This quadrant chart maps our two main variables: logistical convenience against financial cost. Local buses and rickshaws land in the bottom left. They cost very little, but the convenience is practically zero. Sweet Trip's multi-city cab booking sits in the top right. It requires a higher budget, but the convenience scales up drastically. Ultimately, this is a fee paid to bypass the region's exhausting negotiation tax. That convenience extends beyond the car if you look at their multi-day tour options, like the 2-day Varanasi or Ayodhya packages. These packages bundle the essentials. They secure your hotel stays, guarantee guided access to the major temples, and arrange your sunrise and sunset boat rides on the Ganges. They also handle the logistics for sites outside the immediate city center, guaranteeing seamless access to locations like the massive Buddhist ruins at Sarnath. But there is a distinct trade-off here. By purchasing a package, you give up ultimate spontaneity. You are committing to their schedule and their specific network of partner hotels. Booking independently lets you pivot your plans on a daily basis. However, during major religious festivals, that flexibility means you risk facing entirely sold-out accommodations. Package tours trade flexibility for guaranteed access. If your travel time is strictly limited and the stakes are high, locking in your itinerary becomes an essential utility. When you read through Sweet Trip's customer reviews, a distinct pattern emerges around emergency situations and the behavior of their staff. Their teams are specifically trained to assist vulnerable demographics, providing physical guidance and security for senior citizens and single travelers. They also maintain a 24/7 customer support line. In an environment where dense crowds and sudden road closures can derail your plans instantly, having a direct line to a local problem solver is critical. You are essentially paying for a safety net that, if everything goes perfectly, you might never actually use. This invisible premium acts as a literal travel insurance policy. It guarantees that potential disasters are downgraded to minor hiccups. Looking at the aggregate feedback, the consensus on Sweet Trip's pricing model is extremely consistent. Travelers acknowledge that the service is, quote, a bit costly, but follow that immediately by stating it is worth the money. When you are standing at the Triveni Sangam during a major gathering like the Kumbh Mela, surrounded by tens of thousands of people and boats, The value of having a local expert guiding you becomes immediately apparent. Using a high-end operator allows a traveler to outsource the intense cognitive load of organizing a pilgrimage. This chart maps your specific traveler profile. If organizing a group requiring a 7-seater or booking for elderly parents, this service is a must-buy. If prioritizing 24/7 support over a budget, the premium is justified. But if your goal is lowest cost, book independently. The Northern Indian spiritual circuit will inevitably test every traveler who visits. But whether that test is a logistical nightmare or a purely spiritual journey depends entirely on the strategy you choose before you arrive.